Hello, happy Sunday. It is a sincere pleasure to get to be here with you. If we haven't met before, my name is Kalen. I am still getting over being sick, so excuse me. Ah, that's fun. You'll see me do that probably quite a few times during tonight's meditation class, so please bear with me. And every Sunday night at 6 o'clock, I try to host a live meditation class on a topic that I think is pertinent to maybe you, maybe to me. And this week, we've officially entered Pride Month, which is a tremendously jubilant, exciting time for those in the LGBTQ plus community. And I thought for this month, I would focus on topics related to the idea of pride. And so each week I'm going to focus on, I'm already happy married, but thank you very much for the proposal. Each week I'm going to focus on something that I think is pertinent to the idea of what does it mean to be proud about who you are. Now, if you are queer and part of the rainbow community, awesome. If you are not, there are still things to talk about for what you have pride in yourself. So I think this is pertinent regardless of where you are on the sexuality or gender or sex spectrums. But we're going to talk about this idea of pride and its nuances and complexities. So the theme for today is loving yourself in your whole rainbow. And again, regardless of how you identify, I think this is pertinent to you. So please settle in. You can sit up, you can lay down, you can lean back, you can do whatever makes you feel comfortable. I am in my bed currently, so whatever you would like, go ahead and settle in there. And as we focus on our breath, I invite you can either close your eyes or gaze downward. Allow your breath to be what it is. If you're like me right now, it's a little congested. It's okay for it to be what it is. Welcome everybody, welcome. Thanks for all your nice notes. And just start to observe, how are you breathing? How are you feeling? And as you settle into observing your breath, I'm just gonna do a little bit of talking about this idea of celebrating your rainbow. So all of us are made up of a myriad of colors, a myriad of different aspects, character traits. Some of us even have multiple personalities, right? Different person with different people. All of you is sacred. All of you is beautiful. All of you is worthy and deserves a place in this world. It's one of the more difficult things that I discuss on this channel is the idea that no matter who you are, no matter what you've done, no matter where you come from, you are still divine. You are still made by God, through God, of God, or universal consciousness, or Gaia, whatever you want to call it. And because you are made from divinity, there is nothing of you that can be anything other than sacred. Even if you murdered millions of people, and please don't murder millions of people, but even if you did, you are still God. And that's a very difficult concept for us to get our human minds around, because we want to think, I want to be a good person, I want to treat other people well. And in fact, again, excuse me, this is going to continue to happen. And in fact, when we talk about the idea of pride, it's often about celebrating ourselves authentically, despite forces wanting to oppress us, despite people wanting to make us disappear or shut us down, or totalitarian forces that say you can only show up in society if you are straight, if you are gender normal, if you are masculine presenting, the list goes on. And so it might seem counterintuitive to say, as we celebrate all of ourselves, we have to celebrate every part of us, including the parts we don't like, including the parts that we wish weren't there. But I think that's the thing that's so radical about the queer movement. It's this idea of no matter who you are, no matter how you show up, you are valid, you have a voice, you're beautiful, you belong. There's no right or wrong way to be a man, there's no right or wrong way to be a woman, there's no right or wrong way to be a lover, there's no right or wrong way to be a partner, a spouse, a significant other. That you can choose from all the colors of the crayon box and say, I can be whoever I want to be. I can express myself in whatever way I find meaningful. That I can show up in all of my complexity. And I know for myself as a gay man, or I don't know, my label is bi, gay, depends on the day, pansexual. For so long, there were parts of myself that I really didn't like, that I didn't want to show up in the world, that I wanted to hide. There are parts of me that I felt were sinful, shameful, lacking. But to consciously work to say, all of me is beautiful. All of me is sacred. All of me belongs here. That's where we all want to get to. Is to say, all of you, even your scariest bits, even your most shameful bits, even your most hideous bits, are beautiful, and they belong here. So I want you to, as you watch yourself breathe, first just notice, how are you feeling? What's going on inside of you? Has me bringing up these things already in conversation, has it already made you feel a certain way? And as you breathe into yourself, notice the parts you don't want to breathe into. Notice the parts that feel off limits, that feel sectioned off, that feel constrained, the doors you don't want to open. And don't force yourself into those sectioned off, buried parts, but instead create a space where, if they're ready, if they want, the knots can start to become a little more untied, the doors can start to creak open, the latches can begin to be undone. And as you breathe into yourself, silently just say to yourself, all of me is welcome here. All of me is welcome here. I invite all of my broken bits. I invite all of my shameful bits. I invite all of my scary bits to show up. You know, the word holy can be spelled two different ways, with an H or with a WH. But what if they were the same? You know, we would never expect somebody who was missing parts of themselves to be able to fully show up and be able to do all the same things that somebody who had all their parts could do, right? If you only had one arm, you're not going to be able to do the same things as somebody with both arms. Why would we assume that emotionally we'd be any different, that we could cut off parts of ourselves and still be fully functioning and still be healthy and happy and holy? In order to be holy with an H, we need to be holy with a WH there. We are beautiful in our entirety. And one of the really saddening things to realize is that when you try to disconnect from some of your colors, when you try to say, I don't want to express these shades, these aren't a part of me, I don't need them, you don't get to selectively just cut off parts of yourself. You don't get to selectively repress parts of your personality. There are other casualties. Other parts of yourself also get taken with it. Other parts of what make you you also get suppressed. And so you might just think, hey, I don't need this one area, but along with it are going to come a host of other things. For myself, when I suppressed my sexuality earlier in life, I also suppressed my ability to feel a range of emotions, particularly anger. I physically couldn't get angry for many years of my life, and I knew there was something very wrong that I couldn't get angry. I also really struggled with any feeling of authenticity, that I would walk into spaces and try to connect with people and just feel like I was bouncing off of walls. There was no actual genuine connection happening. And it was the same year, the same month actually, that I came out, that I started to get angry for the first time in my adult life. You cannot selectively numb. You cannot selectively shut down parts of you. You have to accept all of yourself. And this is why we go back to what started this conversation today, which is every part of you is sacred. Even if society tells you part of you is wrong, it's not. Even if you look in the mirror and say that part of me is ugly, it's not. You are God made flesh. There is no part of you that can be anything other than divine. Yes, you can forget your divinity. Yes, you can do and feel atrocious things that make you forget that. But at the end of the day, a snail is still a snail, no matter how much you put on top of its hermit crab shell. It's not going to change. You are still God, no matter how much you get buried under. And so rather than hiding those parts, instead of relegating those parts to the shadows or to the back rooms in your psyche, let all of yourself shine. And you will be more beautiful and more radiant and more happy once you learn to integrate yourself in your totality. So place a hand on your heart and repeat after me. I am beautiful in all my complexity. Every shade of my rainbow is sacred and welcomed here. I wish to be my full authentic self, even if I don't know what that fully means right now. I strive to radiate light, my light, not the light that somebody else says I should be shining, but my truth. And if I shine too bright for others, well, that's their journey to deal with it. In the words of Rumi, the wound is the place where the light enters. The places where we are uncomfortable is often where the healing work happens. So I invite you, allow your colors to shine. Realize this world needs the entirety of you. Not just a certain part, we need all of you. We need your truth. We need your weirdness, your quirkiness, your strangeness. We need that which makes you different from everybody else. We need your story, we need your mind, we need your heart, we need your soul. Because you are beautiful in your complexity. And as some of the Christians like to say, God don't make mistakes. It's, I think, one of the strange things that Christians get all this obsessed about sexuality because it has nothing to do with the Bible. Like, it is such a teeny tiny part. Like, it's not part of your religion. Stop talking about it. But when these Christian people come and say, oh, queerness is an abomination, it's against nature. It's like, no, it's not. Do you realize pretty much every animal on planet has same-sex tendencies? Do you realize that gayness exists everywhere? And there's a reason for it. Like, there's a biological imperative for queerness. You know that when a female, this is across species, but for humans too, starts to have multiple sons, multiple male offsprings, the likelihood that each successive boy will be born gay increases. Why is that? Because there's too many men. They're competing for resources. Nature only needs so many sperm donors to go out and create the next generation. They need more caregivers, more people who will help increase the stability of the family unit. So if a mother starts giving birth to gay sons, look, they've got people who are going to be more inclined to be caregivers. They're going to be more going to be competing for resources for their children, for women, for food for their children. They're probably a little more sensitive and creative and probably going to want to help out with child rearing anyway. Like, there is a biological imperative for queerness. You look at nature, there's a reason there's gay animals. We aren't divergent. We're exactly what we're meant to be. And this is the goal that I wish all of us could get to, is we can see the perfection in everything. That even when, for example, I'm sick right now, I don't want to be sick. I would rather be healthy. But there's something beautiful in it, and there's something to be learned by this experience. There's something perfect in every aspect of life if you can see it. And so instead of wishing something were different, that instead of being a turquoise spirit animal, you're an orange creature. Instead of wishing your colors were different, celebrate who and what you are. You are beautiful. You are beautiful. You are worthy. You belong. And I hope one day you come to know your magic and your magnificence in its entirety. That you are full of divine light. And so let's end this practice today with our hands at our hearts and feel a sense of gratitude. Gratitude for something. Maybe it's gratitude for where you've been, where you're going, who you are. Maybe it's gratitude for a nice compliment somebody paid you or something delicious you ate. Bring your hands to your heart and let that gratitude fill your hands. And as gratitude fills your hands, allow them to open skyward. Let that gratitude rise up and out of you to something higher. Pay back that gratitude to the universe. Let the universe feel your thanks whenever gratitude is offered. There's always a rain of love received, so notice how love comes back at you pouring down. Whenever there's a gift offered, there is a gift received. And allow yourself to feel that. I wasn't catching all of the comments, but I believe a couple people were commenting on the difference between society's views on same-gender attraction and men versus women. And one of the things that I really do firmly believe, and I got this from my husband, is that the world doesn't have an issue with homophobia. The world has an issue with women. And that attacks against queer people is actually an extension of its issues with female power. Because at the end of the day, to I think the point that they were making, when a woman steps outside of her gender role, it's much less of a transgression than if a man does. Because society views masculinity as more sacred, more powerful, more high status than female energy. And if we truly viewed the masculine and the feminine as being of equal value, then it wouldn't really matter. If you decide to present more feminine, that's also powerful. If you decide to present more masculine, that's also powerful. Doesn't matter. So women stepping into leadership roles is dangerous. Men giving up their power of masculinity and presenting more feminine is dangerous. Even look at historically that, a man who was doing the penetrating in same-sex sex often not viewed as being gay in certain cultures, or viewed as being less of an issue than if they were the receptive partner, because they were still fulfilling their manly role. So it's really just this issue of not respecting the feminine, and really not seeing that the feminine is just as beautiful, just as powerful, just as equal to the masculine. And that if we could truly embrace that as society, then no one would give a fuck about gender presentation or sexual orientation. We're just like, oh, you're playing with a different color. Nice. Enjoy it. Doesn't matter. And so how intertwined women's rights and women's bolstering women in society is tied to LGBTQ efforts. Or in the words of one of my favorite artists, Hannah Gadsby, what are lesbians really? What do they do? There's no harm in a cuddle. That idea that society are much more concerned with placing men's bodies with regards to same-sex activities than they are women's. It's an interesting time we live in. And this is just my own personal view. But before the Industrial Revolution, at an earlier time in human history, before what we call the patriarchy or male-dominated culture took over, the female role was held as being powerful and sacred. Look at some of our earliest depictions of art as human beings, like the Venus of Willendorf. It's depictions of fertility goddesses, that the woman was viewed as the powerful one and the sacred one. You look in so many animal kingdoms where women are the power holders in the societal structure. They're the hunters, the people who provide for the families. You know, I do believe that we have been cultures, evolutionarily speaking, who have celebrated the power of women and have held femininity as sacred and majestic and equal to that of men. And my sincere hope is we will get back there. And when we can see that, it's less of a fight to start to see every life as sacred. Every life is beautiful, regardless of what it looks like. Every plant, every animal, every sentient creature. We're all sacred. Someone asked how old I am. I'm 35. I'll be 36 next month. Birthday's coming up in a couple weeks. Well, gang, that's what I've got for today. It's a little bit shorter than normal, but as you can hear, talking is not the easiest for me right now. I am sending you all so much love. Happy Pride Month, happy summer, happy solstice we've got coming up in a couple weeks. I'll try to do a special meditation on Solstice Day, so look out for that. I'm sorry that there haven't been very many edited videos the last couple of weeks, but I've been really sick and dealing with the move, and my YouTube studio is still boxed up. Oh, I'm so sorry. But I will try to get things back on our regular schedule very soon. Thank you for taking time out of your busy life to be here with me on this live meditation class, whether you're watching it now or whether you're watching it at some point in the future. We're still together. Time and space is an illusion of the mind. It's an experience of this mortal body, but time and space doesn't actually exist. So you are with me, you're with all of us, regardless of when you encountered this video, and it's an honor to share this space and time with you. Thank you all so much. If you ever want to support the work that I do or get a little more of an insight into my life, feel free to check out Patreon. I have both my safe for work and not safe for work Patreon, so that's always fun. And if you ever want to go deeper one-on-one, I'm always available for coaching, so don't hesitate to reach out. Okay, I'm gonna go back to laying down and coughing up more phlegm, but thank you all. I so appreciate you taking time out of your life to be here. Sending you much love wherever you're watching this from, Virgin Islands, the US, abroad, wherever. Blessings and peace to you. May you be well, may you be happy, may you be filled with love and life. May you know your worth, may you share the light, may you find your peace, and may you realize that you are God made flesh. Blessings to you all.